All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Cipher Mining, stock ticker CIFR. This was a highly requested video. It seems like there's a lot of confusion around this company. They kind of came out of nowhere. They did just put out their monthly operational report, so I want to go through that report and then talk about who Cipher is, what they're doing, and where they're going. So according to our statistics, still about 40 to 50% of the people watching this video are still not subscribed to the channel. So please do us a big favor and hit the subscribe button. If you want, hit the notification bell and you can get notified when we make videos. And in addition to that, if you want to support the channel, we do have a membership. So you can hit the join button. It's right next to the subscribe button. If you don't see that, then there's a link in the pinned comment below. There's a lot of content there already waiting, a lot of deep dives that were for members only. We do a once a week live stream for members only, and the members get to pick a stock each week for me to do a new deep dive on. So we have a lot of fun there, and it helps support the channel, so much appreciated. Let's talk about Cipher. Cipher is flat on the day right now. It's early in the trading day, and this has been a lot of fluctuation as usual. But currently they're around $1.70. They're over $400 million market cap. This makes them somewhere about tied for third with HUT. So for a company that really didn't even start mining until just a few months ago, they are a big market cap. Now, having said that, all of these companies are drastically off of their all-time high market caps. Just to put it in perspective, you can see at one point, Cipher was almost a $3 billion market cap company. That was in September of 2021. Now, they had put out some big announcements. I'm going to look at that later because Cipher's story has changed drastically. So I want to look at where they started, where they are now, and then talk about where they might be going. Let's just start out with the monthly operational report. Okay, so this was put out on February 1st. So this was a few days ago now. Cipher Mining announces January 2023 operational update. This is only the second operational update they've ever provided, and this is really because they really did just start mining Bitcoin. Their Bitcoin mining numbers were so small prior to December of 2022 that there was really not much to report. But you can see here their January results. They mined 343 Bitcoin. So to put that in perspective, here's all the Bitcoin mining companies' results from December. You're going to see RIOT, Bitfarms, Marathon, and CleanSpark. They seem to be producing more than everybody else, but Cipher went from never being in the top 10 list. We do this top 10 every single month for the last year plus. Cipher has never been in the top 10 list, and they went straight to number 5 in December with 225 Bitcoin mined, and they have now beaten that substantially. So they are going to maintain this 5th place spot. Okay, deployed mining rigs, they're at 41,000. They were at 28,000 at the end of December. So they deployed 13,000 rigs. That puts them at 4.3 exahash overall. You're going to see their target is to get to 6 exahash by the end of the first quarter. Okay, so actually in this presentation, this is their most recent investor presentation. They're now saying up to 7.0 exahash is expected self-mining capacity by early 2023. So they're at 4.3 right now. So you'll see also in this investor presentation, they say 4 data centers operating with an expected total capacity of 267 megawatts in Q1 of 2023. So I want to break that down a little bit because here's where I feel like everybody's getting a little bit confused, and that is because I don't know that they've done the best job of presenting this information. So I'm going to try to make it make some sense. If we go to their previous investor presentation from a few months ago, you'll see Odessa is their main base of operations. It's where the vast majority of all of their mining is going to be done. They have a few joint ventures that really altogether represent just a little bit less than 1 exahash in total. And the reason I point that out is they talk about 2 other facilities in their previous report. Okay, Elbor's operational highlights, and if I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. This entire facility in the entire third quarter mined 196 Bitcoin. So just about half of those were Ciphers. So you can see for the whole quarter, that's less than 100 Bitcoins. And then their other facility here at Bear and Chief, this is actually even much smaller. This is 0.3 exahash in total. And again, they own, I think, 49 or 50% of this. These 2 things put together represent a small portion of their business. So one of the things that they talk about is a very low cost of energy. Right now, they're representing that it costs them about $4,500 or $4,600 to mine a Bitcoin. I am going to wait and see because we know that right now, we have not seen the results from their Odessa mining, which is the vast majority of the mining that they're going to do. And again, since that facility just got up and running, I would like to see some financial data on this going forward. So I will be waiting for the December 31st financial statements, but more importantly, Q1 of 2023, they will be up and running in a significant way for that entire period of time. Most of that activity is going to represent Odessa, and I think then we will have a better idea of what their cost per Bitcoin is, because what they are talking about in their investor presentation and what they're representing is so much better than the next best company out there that I remain skeptical that they're going to be able to achieve that as they scale up, but we will see. And they don't really need to achieve that. They're talking about $4,500 or $4,600 per Bitcoin. If they were at $6,000 or $7,000 per Bitcoin, that would actually make them the leader in the whole industry. And right now Bitcoin's at around $23,000, even at its lows at $15,000 or $16,000. If their cost is $7 per Bitcoin, they still have a massive gross profit margin at that point. So that piece of information is something I'm waiting for. The other piece of information that I'm waiting for is you will see beyond their first quarter 2023 target of what they're saying here is a total of 7 exahash. There's really no mention of any growth past that. So I don't know where this company goes from here. Now, this is massive, massive growth. So I'm certainly not complaining about this. To get from essentially 0 to 6 exahash in 3 months, this was a gigantic feat, and it looks like they're in the middle of pulling it off. So I do have confidence that they will get to this 6 exahash. They're already at 4.3 exahash. So that is a very good news for this company. That is why their market cap is among the leaders out of all the Bitcoin miners, because they did ramp up very, very quickly. The question is, what happens next? Because past this 7.0 exahash that they're talking about, they have discussed no plans past that. And I want to go back in time a year and a half, back when they were a $3 billion market cap company. Before they had ever mined a Bitcoin, they were still in the planning phases, and I want to show you this press release. Cipher Mining announces agreement to purchase 28,000 to 56,000 Bitfury next generation mining rigs. And what I want to show you is, okay, so this is October 12th, 2021 when they put this out. Cipher has entered into purchase contracts for mining rigs from 3 different major manufacturers, including Bitfury. Bitfury is the major shareholder in this company, in Cipher, for machines capable of generating an aggregate hash rate of up to approximately 19.2 exahash. The majority of the mining rigs are scheduled to be delivered in the second half of 2022. Well, we now know that the year 2022 is over. They got to 2.8 exahash at the end of the year 2022. So you can see in late 2021, they were talking about potentially being at 19.2 exahash by the end of 2022. So this plan fell by the wayside, and that is one of the reasons their market cap is down from 3 billion down more in the 400 million range. So obviously a lot of things changed. This was very close. This was just 1 month away from Bitcoin's all-time high. So a lot of companies had a lot of very big plans at this point, but this was a company not really mining any Bitcoin at all back at that point. So this was all in theory, and people were locking down machines. Well, it turns out right now, in the Bitcoin mining industry, it's much, much, much more about the power and the power infrastructure and having access to power. So it doesn't matter how many machines you have, as we've seen with a lot of the big companies, if you can't plug them in and you can't mine Bitcoin with them, then they're of no use. So the infrastructure side of this business, I think, is something that back in October and November of 2021, most of these publicly traded companies were still a little bit, I'm going to say, ignorant, not in a negative way. It just had not come up as an issue yet, so they did not understand that side of the business. And I'm going to say most. Some did. There were other companies that were focused on building out the infrastructure and getting the megawatts of power to have the capacity, understanding that they could later buy machines and fill that up. But without that power capacity, a machine is of no value. So this is a very strong company from a balance sheet standpoint. You can see they have about $407 million of assets. This was as of September 30th, their most recent information. You can see in total, in current liabilities and long-term liabilities, they only have $24 million in liabilities. So this is an extremely healthy company from a balance sheet standpoint. So I do like what they're doing. I do see that clear path to 6 or 7 exahash. Here on this chart, I think they've solidified their position behind these 4 companies, and they are potentially catching up to them. They could theoretically pass Bitfarms in mining by the end of the first quarter because they will have more exahash if they can execute their plan. So this puts them in that top 5 conversation, but it leaves them a little bit at the bottom of the top 5, and I'm not sure where they go from here. So we need to hear what their plans are going forward. So if we look at their chart, this is Cypher's chart on the 1-day time frame. You're going to see they bottomed out just like almost all of the other Bitcoin miners. This is on December 29th, so plus or minus a couple of days of that. That was really the bottom of the small cap high growth market in general. This was the bottom for the Bitcoin miners in specific. That's just about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Cypher is up 346%, and a lot of that has to do with the 2 monthly operational reports that they put out. Again, these were their first 2 reports. So as of December 27th, when we're looking at this, they had never put out a monthly operational report, and they had mined next to no Bitcoin in total as a company. Just a few days ago, they ran up to about $2.89, so very close to $3. They did pull back quite a bit on that day. So they closed that day up 408% from their lows in December at about $2. They're now trading at about $1.66 as we speak. So as you can see, this green line is where they were trading in August of 2022. In August of 2022, Bitcoin ran up to about $25,000. So we're starting to get in that neighborhood. We've been fluctuating between $23,000 and $24,000. So if Bitcoin was to finish this rally and get up to $25,000, with Cypher now having all of this equipment come online, and they're not mining a significant amount of Bitcoin, I would not at all be surprised to see them run up to this line or past this line. So that's somewhere close to another 60% run up from here. And again, there's the potential for them to go higher. So from a long-term buy and hold standpoint, I do see a potential double or triple or quadruple here if they can execute and if Bitcoin gets healthy. Obviously, there's a long way down. If Bitcoin takes another run at its recent lows, Cypher would drop about 75% to get back to its lows from just 5 or 6 weeks ago. So big risk reward here. So please, as always, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and invest very carefully. That's what I have for you on Cypher. Hopefully this clears things up a little bit. Thanks so much for watching. Again, remember to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel and get a bunch of additional content, you can become a member by hitting the join button. So thanks again, and we will see you in the next video.